My name is Lindsay Hopkins,
And I'm Karen Yates.
and we're working on a project called Chicago Dream House.
Chicago Dream House is a day-long event at the end of May that is taking place in Albany Park. And it basically is blending art and social engagement. We are building a symbolic house with the community and using that house as a way to begin dialogue around how the economic crisis has impacted the community.
Throughout the day, we will have sessions. So on every hour, we may have sessions on community organizing, renters' rights, education, and access to education, housing, etc. That's going to be happening in the center of the space, sort of being surrounded by this house being built. And then on the outside of that, we are going to have community tables.
Left, what's happening to neighborhood schools, and then actually getting more specifically also into what's happening within the schools themselves, looking at the Common Core standards and their effects on the student population, as well as safety within schools. And we have a couple of students here, so I'm going to introduce them first. Amber, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name's Amber Blay. I'm a senior at Sullivan.
I don't think it's right that, they're closing all of our schools down and then leaving our other schools very limited with resources. So it's kind of crazy because you close our schools and you limit our resources, and then with the whole gentrification that's going on, our students are getting actually pushed out of our neighborhoods. So they actually, as our students are getting pushed out, that money actually follows them. So that creates our unutilized schools in our neighborhoods, which, as we all know, funding comes from our students who populate that school.
So the choice system is it's a stratifying system, but B, it's sort of a self-perpetuating system that is going to slowly eliminate neighborhood schools and destroy the whole concept of a school being a community resource for a neighborhood.
And it's really hard because, from the research we've done at Albany Park Neighborhood Council, a lot of these charter schools that do open up in these communities, they actually push out our Black and Latino youth. So it's like, hey, you put us in this neighborhood, and then, hey, now you're going to push us out. So then we have to resort back to our neighborhood school. So it's a big problem.
If people don't know their neighbors because they don't go to school with them, you lose a whole aspect of community organizing and of community. So people, it's the free market. Everyone's out for themselves. School is seen as this individual asset that you have to get for your kid, as opposed to schools are something that we all need to raise all of us up. And that's, I think, what's happening.
So each table might have their own dialogue, but in terms of, we were actually just talking the other day about this concept of the artist, the role of the artist being sort of a mediator between, in this context, community organizations and politicians, aldermen, people who are in roles of leadership, who are sort of creating these systems that we live in. And oftentimes there's, sort of a break down the middle, and I think what we can do as artists is sort of bridge that gap.
I just think it's great that the Dream House project is bringing awareness of what's going on, after the foreclosure crisis, what's happening now in our neighborhoods. We are now seeing what is happening in areas near transit corridors like Albany Park. And if investors are going to come in and scoop up these properties, then there's going to be no affordability left in areas like Albany Park. And then what do long-term residents do? They're forced to move. After working so hard to get the neighborhood better and happy that it's getting better, right? We're being forced out.